You turn the key, but nothing happens. No crank, no start, just silence. You think it's the battery again? But what if it isn't? What if your ignition switch is slowly failing, silently cutting off the power your engine desperately needs? In this video, we'll uncover the first 10 warning signs of a bad ignition switch and how they quietly lead to stalling, no start issues, and even electrical chaos inside your car. So, what are those warning signs? Let's find out. Number 1. Engine won't start. No crank or no response. You turn the key and nothing. Not even a click. This is one of the most common and most confusing signs. If your battery and starter motor are fine, the ignition switch could be the real culprit. Inside the switch, small electrical contacts are supposed to send power to the starter circuit. But when they wear out, the signal never reaches the starter, so the car stays silent, no matter how many times you turn the key. Number 2. Intermittent starting failures. Sometimes the car starts right up. Other times, it refuses. No warning, no pattern. This on and off behavior is a classic symptom of worn or loose internal contacts inside the ignition switch. They might connect properly one moment and lose contact the next, breaking the power flow to your starter or ignition system. That's why intermittent starting issues often trace back to the switch, not the battery. Number 3. Engine stalls while driving. You're driving normally, and suddenly, the engine dies. The dashboard lights go dark. Steering gets heavy. Everything shuts down. This isn't just inconvenient. It's dangerous. A failing ignition switch can instantly cut power to the ignition coil and fuel system while driving, killing the engine on the spot. If your car randomly stalls and comes back to life after turning the key again, it's time to suspect the switch. Number 4. Accessories or dashboard lights. Flicker or go out. Pay attention to your dashboard and accessories. If your radio, lights, or gauges start flickering, or they just stop working out of nowhere, it's not always a wiring issue. The ignition switch might be losing electrical contact between positions, ACC, ON, and start. That momentary loss of connection interrupts power to multiple circuits, making your car's electronics behave erratically. Number 5. Key feels loose, hard to turn, or turns without resistance. Sometimes the problem isn't electrical, it's mechanical. If your key feels loose, turns too freely, or gets stuck before starting, that's a red flag. It usually means the ignition lock cylinder or switch mechanism is worn out. And when those parts start failing, they can prevent proper engagement between your key and the ignition contacts, leading straight to starting and stalling problems. Number 6. Car starts, then immediately dies. You turn the key, the engine fires up for a second, then it shuts right off. That's a clear sign the ignition switch isn't maintaining power to the ignition and fuel circuits. It may give enough voltage for the initial start, but when the internal contacts heat up or lose connection, the circuit cuts out, killing the engine instantly. Number 7. No power to starter or other key circuits. The ignition switch acts as the main power distributor. It sends electricity to critical components like the starter motor, fuel pump, ignition coils, and control modules. When it fails, none of these systems receive power. Even if your battery and fuses are perfectly fine, you might notice no fuel pump hum, no click, and no crank at all. Number 8. Burning smell or overheating around ignition area. A faint burning or plastic smell near your steering column is never a good sign. Inside a worn ignition switch, electrical resistance increases, which generates heat. Over time, this can melt internal parts or even scorch nearby wiring. If you ever smell something like that, don't ignore it. It's a fire hazard. Number 9. Engine keeps running after you remove the key. Ever turned off the car and the engine still runs? That's a red flag. It means the ignition switch isn't cutting power to the ignition circuit. Sometimes the mechanical part of the switch sticks or the electrical contacts stay connected when they shouldn't. In some cases, you might even notice the steering wheel won't lock. Number 10. Heavy keychain or extra weight wears the switch prematurely. It sounds harmless, but carrying too many keys or heavy fobs on your keychain puts constant pressure on the ignition switch and cylinder. Over time, the weight causes the internal contacts to loosen or misalign, leading to electrical and mechanical wear. A good rule: keep your ignition key as light as possible. How to fix a bad ignition switch. First, confirm it's really the switch. Test for voltage at the starter and ignition circuits using a multimeter. If there's no power from the switch when the key is turned to start, the internal contacts are likely worn or burnt. In most cases, replacement is the only reliable fix. Ignition switches aren't meant to be repaired. Make sure to disconnect the battery before working. And if your car has an immobilizer or smart key system, reprogramming may be needed after installation. A failing ignition switch can mimic all kinds of electrical problems, from dead batteries to bad starters. But now you know how to tell the difference. If your car shows any of these signs, don't ignore them. Fixing it early could save you from being stranded or even prevent an electrical fire. Thanks for watching. If this helped you diagnose your issue, hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned. We've got more breakdowns coming on real-world car problems and how to fix them.